I'm back with another video of coins that I purchased from a recent coin show from one of my favorite foreign coin dealers, Ken. This is going to be the fourth video out of that series, and this is actually part 2 of 4 of bags of carded coins. So we're going to see these two bags in the next couple of videos, but tonight we're going to look at the coins that are in the bag right here. Now, when I had made this purchase from Ken, he went ahead and put them into the bags, and I thought, hey, that's kind of a great way to sort them, but and to make different videos. But I thought, hey, this would be, let me go through and sort them by how much I paid for them, and that's how we're going to organize the coins that are in this video. Let me zoom in. Now, Ken, when he prices his coins, he knows exactly what he has. And so the prices that appear on these coins are almost always going to be exactly the book price on them. So in the last video, I added everything up and I added up the book price, and it pretty much matched except for a couple of silver coins, which were below spot, which kind of surprised me. But for this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So we have these coins that are marked with the book price, but I've decided this time I'm going to take a look at the Numista.com crowdsourced value of each of these coins, and we're going to see how that stacks up to what I paid Ken for these. Then keep in mind, because I spent $100 at his booth, he gave me a 10% discount. So let's get in and take a look at our first coin. We're going to start with a coin from Chile. So this was a design that they mostly used for quite a while. However, this was the first year they used it, and so they made some changes. So as we take a close look at the coin here, there is the name of this individual is their liberator, Bernardo O'Higgins. But they only made this coin for 1975. It's KM 207. They changed it the next year, number 208. It changed his name to Liberator B. O'Higgins. So that makes this a 1-year coin. It's going to be a 1 peso from 1975. Another coin from Chile. This one is the 5 pesos from about the same time. Now this version, or this 5 pesos coin, had multiple versions over several years. This one's KM 217.1. So before this was version KM 209, which was made out of copper nickel and was a larger coin, but pretty much the design of it looked pretty much the same as this one. And then as we flip it over, we see that I've noted this one is the wide date version of the coin. So they made this one from 1981 to 87, and then they had 217.2. The next version was the narrow date version of this coin. So if I paid 10 cents for this coin, Numista says this one would be worth 40 cents. As we continue looking at Latin American coins that have varieties, we have this one from Colombia from 1964. This one is a 20 centavos. And so this one is KM 215.2, and you see where I have a large date written on here. So with this version of the coin from 1956 to 61, they made 0.1 of the coin, which was the small date. And then they had this larger date from 63 to 65, and then they had the medium date, which was 215.3, that they made in 1966. This coin in this condition is has a Numista value of 50 cents. I'm not going to give you the Numista value of all these coins because there's nothing over $1 until we get much further into the video, but I'll keep a running tally still and tell you at the end what everything added up to. This next coin is from Uruguay, a 20 centésimos from 1981. And the design here, we have a fortress on Montevideo's hill. This one is KM 67, and there are gold and silver versions of this coin that were offered as proof versions, but they're really rare. This next coin is from Venezuela from 1958. This was minted in Philadelphia, which is why there is P written on the flip. It's a 12.5 centimos coin. Seems like a strange value of a denomination. If you haven't seen one of my previous videos on this, I'm not going to rehash the whole story, but it does go back to the Spain's pieces of 8 coins, where this would have essentially been the same as a 1 real, where their bolivar would have been the essentially the 8 real at the time for their dollar-sized coin. So this is colloquially, this was called the Locha in Venezuela, and the denomination didn't last very long. We have another coin from Uruguay. This one is newer than the last one that we looked at. This was part of the peso uruguayo monetary system that they had, which started in 1993. This is another one where there are 2 different versions. This is the second version, KM 103.2, and some of the differences on it. The 0.2 version of the coin has a Santiago mint mark right here. Version 1 was made in Buenos Aires in 1994, and the more telling distinguishing feature of this coin is version 2. When you look at the bust on here, the back corner of it points to the letter P in Republica, whereas the Buenos Aires version, 0.1 version of the coin, points at the letter U right here. Next up, we have a coin from Bulgaria. This coin is dated 2000. It's a 5 statinki coin. And all of the Bulgarian coins from this era feature the Madara horseman. And these are going to be the Reformed Republic coins, which started in 1999. So Ken wrote KM239A on this coin. There are 2 versions of this coin. 239 is made of aluminum brass, and this one is brass-plated steel. The date on this coin is 2000. And so both versions of this coin were made in 2000, and so I can't tell. To me, it looks more like aluminum brass, where it'd be a solid color throughout. I would kind of expect a brass-plated steel to be shinier, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But it is kind of hard to tell which is which on a coin like this. Next, we have a coin from El Salvador. At least I was going to say there weren't alternate versions of this one. I didn't write down what the other versions are. I think it's a metal content thing. This one is copper nickel clad with steel. And a lot of the El Salvador coins at this time featured General Francisco Morazan. Next, we have a modern coin from Malaysia. This is what the 5 sen coin looks like these days. I picked up a few of these before. Has just nice dots and lines and patterns on the back. Next, we have a coin from Seychelles. This one is going to be a 5 cents coin from 1981. I like the design on their seal here with the 2 swordfish. It's a shame that this brass coin has tarnished a little bit. But when we flip this one over, the version of this coin that they made in 1981 honors World Food Day on October 16th. So this one is KM43, and the following year, in 1982, on KM47, they made a similar coin which featured the tree, the number 5, and the 5 cents, but did not have the rest of the words that go around the top and sides on here. So everything else was a little bit bigger. Next we have a modern coin from Turkey. After they went through some quite big inflation and they revalued their kurus and lira, we now have this bimetallic half a lira, which has a face value of 50 kurus, featuring Ataturk, and a bridge on this side. Really liked the design on this one, and of course it was only marked at 15 cents is what I paid on it. This was made from 2009 to 13. And after I bought this, I got a whole bunch of these for 5 cents each at a future dealer. So maybe it's not quite as good of a bargain as I would have liked. This next coin is one that I just assumed that I would have had, and as it turns out I didn't. Maybe I've had several of these in my possession in the past. I never actually checked them. This one is going to be from Hungary. It's a 50 filler coin. And from 1991. Without using, when I just looked at this, I thought the mint mark here was the letters BR, and the catalog said it was going to be a mint mark of BP for Budapest. But as you can see on the camera, that's BP with a dot or a period, so the abbreviation of Budapest on here. So what makes this one different is the words that go around here. So in the middle of this coin is the Ursulet Bridge in Budapest. But this dates from the Second Republic of Hungary, which started in 1989. So the version of this, which is a lot easier to find, was when Magyar or Hungary had different words written around the bridge on this side. So I bought this one thinking it would make a good trade piece, but as it turns out, I didn't have it, so even better, it goes into my collection. Next we have a coin from Cyprus. I believe it's a little bit harder to find the Cyprus coins that do not have the British monarch on it, so this is newer than that. And of course it has the shield with the dove on the front with the date of 1960. And that will appear on a lot of the Cyprus coins of this time. And of course it has Cyprus written in 3 different languages. This coin was made in 1992. It's KM 54.3. We flip it over. This is the 2 cents coin, and it has stylized goats. So let me hold it like this so you can see. And so there are, of course, variations of this coin since it's KM 54.3. And so the variations have to do with the thickness of the number 2. And also the size and design of the wreath around the shield on this coin. This next coin was fairly inexpensive for something that you just don't find even in bad condition at an affordable price. So this one, and I'll go ahead and say the book value in this coin certainly wasn't very bad, but when you see how banged up it is and dented, especially in the middle, it doesn't really matter that it's got a fine, he judges it as being fine, but I wouldn't even say that. Now, he didn't price it like what the book would price it, but yeah, so we've got the Indian princely state of Hyderabad from 1938. And so the value of this coin is 1 anna. It has that written in 3 languages in 3 of the corners, and then the Arabic year written in this corner, which is going to say 1358. Unlike a lot of Arabic countries that have kind of a circle for the number 5, this one has an upside down heart for their number 5. But it does feature the Tofra on here. And so in my catalog, it describes this as part of the first coinage of Mir Usman Ali Khan from 1911 and 1948. So this side's even worse than the last side. Whereas I can't even tell which side is up on here. We've got a 1 through here, representing that as, say, 1 Anna coin. But hey, at least it was something that's new to my collection. I'll probably never find another one, so that one's going to be in my collection. So we're back to Uruguay. This one is a nice coin for the price. This is a Nuevo Peso. As you can see, this one is not round, but a dodecagon, which means it is 12-sided. But for a 30-cent coin, I think the portrait on here of their national hero, Jose Artigas, a really nice portrait. I really like the look of that that coin. To me, almost all of the coins from Costa Rica look about the same. And so I definitely have to get out the catalog to see different, I'll never remember which variations I have on certain things, but this one is a 100 colones coin, and from the Central Bank of Costa Rica. This one was made in the year 2000. It's KM 240. And so this was only made for 1 year. This version of the coin is made out of copper, aluminum, nickel. And after this year, this coin was made out of brass-plated steel. Before this year, the words República de Costa Rica along the top was using a larger typeface. And that's what makes this a 1 year coin. And then on other years, there are different variations about the number of stars which appear right here above my finger, the size of the boat, the size of the mountains. So there's always lots to look up on some of these Costa Rican coins. This is one of the few coins in the video that is actually still spendable in their country and has a foreign exchange value of 20 cents in U.S. foreign exchange value. Of course, you can also spend coins from Canada. And so this was a 1 year Canadian coin made in, I'll have to double check the year here, 2017. I actually did have one of these, but this was part of Canada's 150th anniversary of their Confederation. As I wrote on the flip, there is a 150 logo maple leaf right here. KM 2291. But the real story with this coin, in addition to the date, 1867 to 2017 on here, is they've replaced the normal Canadian beaver that you typically see with the, they call this reimagining the beaver in the traditional style of the Algonquin tribe. So I think that's a really cool design, how they would do that with their circulating 5-cent coin. We're back to Seychelles, and so we've got another coin that has a couple of different variations. This one is from 1992, so we get kind of a better look at the swordfish here. This coin's more well worn than the previous one we saw, but it's not tarnished, so maybe we can see the swordfish a little bit better. As we flip this one over for the 1 rupee coin, this one is a Triton conch shell. So for those of you who are animal lovers, I guess you'd call this an animal on this coin. So let me turn it back over to this side. This one, there is a Pobjoy Mint PM mint mark right here to the left of that banner. So the version of this coin that was made by the Pobjoy Mint, like this one in 1992, is KM 50.2. So they made this from 1992 to 1997. And then the version 1 of this coin, and I didn't write down what mint that one was from, was made from 82 to 83. And then they went back to it in 2007 to 2010. And so there were some subtle changes to the design here. You can tell it by date, but I think the most noticeable change was the turtle appears larger in that KM 50.1 version of the coin. So for that reason, this one was new to my collection. Someone had donated to me a lot of coins from Seychelles many years ago, so I didn't have that one though. Now we're moving on to Botswana. We had a 12-sided coin earlier. Here is a 7-sided coin from 2002, KM26. And on a lot of their coins, it has the words Botswana Ipelegang. And I found out the translation for that essentially means pull yourself up by your bootstraps, is kind of what an American would say for a message like that. This one is the red-billed hornbill on a 5 Thebe coin. This is the first one that Numista has said this one is a value of $1. This one is also copper-plated steel. Next we have another coin from Myanmar. This turns out to be my newest coin from Myanmar. This is going to be mean that it's a date of 1999 right here. And it's going to have a value of 10 kyats. A lot of the coins from Myanmar featured this, I believe they pronounce this chinthi, which is just essentially the Burmese depiction of a lion. Here we go with the Central Bank of Myanmar. Here is the 10 kyats logo. And my son has been in here watching me record this video, and he left just a moment ago. What I thought was interesting, I read off the names of a lot of these countries, and he hadn't heard of Bulgaria, he hadn't heard of Seychelles, he certainly hadn't heard of Hyderabad, and he hadn't heard of a lot of the other coins coming up later in this video, but he had heard of Myanmar. And so I'm kind of surprised about that. Maybe it came up in school somehow, but I don't know. KM62. Now I talk about how this dealer is really good at selling the coins for book price. And this one he actually got way off. This is a beautiful coin. I had one that was part of a mint set. So this is when New Zealand first switched to the decimal system, and so they got rid of the 1 penny, 3 pence, 6 pence, that kind of older British system, and they went to the 100 pennies make a dollar system, and this was their first $1 coin. It's my understanding that this coin was never meant to circulate, and so in a way, to find it in a flip like this, someone had to take it out of a mint product. Now the version I had, it was a 1968 mint set, a 67 mint set, where it had every coin. It was kind of an old and a new set where they had every coin of the older system, every coin of the newer system, including this dollar coin. And so I've got a lot of notes on here. But you could also purchase this coin without purchasing a mint set. I believe it came in individual cases. And they changed the coin a little bit after 1967, but I still think it was only made as a mint product. I don't know that this ever was intended to circulate, but like a lot of commemorative coins made in America, your bank would take, a commemorative dollar coin that you probably pay $10 for, because it is legal tender. But I will say that in the 1967 version of this coin, you can't see it because it's in a flip, but there are going to be words around the side, and I wrote it on here. It's going to say decimal currency introduced July 10, 1967. And then the design of the back here says fern leaves encircle crowned shield. So a lot going on here. I just think this is a beautiful coin. To find it for 75 cents, I've always found this for about $3 in the past. And even though I had this coin in a mint flip, I'm actually going to hold on to this one because I didn't have it loose. I only had it in the original complete mint set packaging. But you can see this. At one point, someone tried to sell this for $6. I have no idea what the 22 to 52 means that's written on here. So the KM38.1, the .2 is made after 67, where they got rid of the words that go around the edge. This is our day for coin variations, or maybe they would always have this if I went to the trouble of looking them all up. But this one's going to be from Bulgaria. It's from 1901. It's going to be a 2 statinki. And it is well worn, so it's very good condition. But I had this one translated, so Bulgarian as written in Cyrillic is around the top, and then the words that go around the rest of the coin translate to, I have it written down here, unity makes strength. So version 23.1 of this coin was only made in 1901. Now there's not a mint mark, but it was made in Paris, and Paris is known for putting privy marks on their coins. So right here, it is kind of well worn to see, but this is kind of a cornucopia mint mark that you see from a lot of coins from Paris. And then, let's see, the Mint Master mark appears right here, and it's kind of tough to see, but that one's going to be a torch. So the other year that they made this coin, it was not made in Paris, did not have those privy marks, so it had a KM number of 23.2. Next we have the oldest coin of the video. I only paid $1.50 for it because it is bent a little bit, but I think the details on it are pretty good for what you usually find in 1807. This one's going to be from Austria, when it was part of the Austria-Hungarian Empire. The monarch pictured here is Franz II. It has an S mint mark on here, which is actually from a city in Hungary, Smolnitz. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, but it is a 15 cruiser. So we've got a 15 here, and more 15s on the other side. Of course, we've got this diamond shape with the 15s kind of cut into it. KM 2138. And so this is a fairly large copper coin. And so with being the 15 cruisers, if you had 8 of these, it would be worth a silver thaler. And the silver thaler was about the same size as the American silver dollar. And so that's what, just to kind of give you an idea what this was worth. So if you think about it, this goes kind of back to the pieces of 8. This would have been 1/8 of a thaler, which would have made it about 1/8 of a United States dollar. Now we come around to this side, and we have the double-headed eagle that we see often on Austrian coins. We've got another 15 on both sides, and a 15 in the circle in the middle of the eagle on this side. Here's our date of 1807. And I looked up the translation of the words that go around the side on this one, and it translates to Franz, Emperor of Austria, King of Hungary, Bohemia, and Lodomeria. So that's a pretty cool coin for $1.50. Next we have a coin from Portugal. This one's a 25 escudos. You're going to see a date of 74 and 84 on this side. So this one commemorates the 10th anniversary of the Carnation Revolution. And of course it has this design that we associate with Portugal. And a couple of waves that go on top of it, KM 623. Here we have the 25 escudos and the date of April of 1984. A democracy and liberty. Numista says that one should be $1.80. Our next coin is from Greece. This one's going to be a 50 drachma from 1994. Featuring, let's see, that is, if I'm pronouncing it right, Makrigiannis. There were two 50 drachma coins made this year, and it was, I guess, a two-coin series called the 150th Anniversary of the Constitution series. This one's KM 168. Flip it over. I believe the other coin had an identical back on here, which features the Parliament building in Greece. So here's where we see 150th anniversary. I guess that's Greek for Constitution, 50 drachma, and they've abbreviated drachma right here. And then the dates of 1844 to 1994 for the 150th anniversary. This next coin is the only silver coin in the video. It's in pretty rough shape. I bought it because it was a lot cheaper than spot price. It's hard to say how much the value would be because there's two glaring holes on here, but this was back when Australian coins were still sterling. And so I only paid $1. It had, if it were not for the holes, it would have a weight of 0.0836. The day I'm filming this, that would translate to a melt value of $2.35. Maybe take off 35 cents for the holes. But this is from Australia. It is a sixpence from 1943. For a short time, this coin was made in San Francisco. This next coin was misidentified, and so I overpaid for it. He had written the year Turkey. He had messed up the calendar date on here, and so he charged $2 for it. That is wrong. It's actually from our second coin today from the Indian princely state of Hyderabad. This one is a 2 pi coin. That year's completely wrong. I should have written down the correct year on here, but the catalog number is KM 46A. Probably thought it was from Turkey because it still had the Tofra on it. As I'm looking in the catalog, there were 3 different versions of this coin. So well worn I couldn't tell them apart, except for there is a curved line right here, and on the other 2 versions, that one was flat. So that's how I know that, or it was straight. That's how I know this one's KM46A. And then we have a lot of Arabic on here. The date is written in there somewhere. And so I'm thinking this was 1912. It's kind of hard to say. The value of the coin was 2 pi. Sometimes it's written out pies. So I decided this time on Numista, since I had it open, to look up the translation of everything written on here. And so it's going to say 2 pies struck at Farkhanda, Banyad, Hyderabad, in the 19th year of tranquil prosperity. And so you mix in that message with what was going on during the princely states there in what is today India and Botswana, and not Botswana, Bangladesh, and kind of give you an idea of what they mean there. I had this next coin, but I didn't realize I had it. So we've got a coin from Bermuda that looks a lot like it should be a 1 pound coin from Britain. So it was made on a similar planchet as that, as what you'd find from British coins. But it still is pretty rare. This side looks like something you would expect on for a British pound. But on this side, it says $1. We've got a Cahow. I'm not familiar with that species of bird, but it's flying over a map of Bermuda in 1983. This one also has some words around the edge. You see the word authority right here. It says the Bermuda Monetary Authority on the edge. So the Numista value of this one is actually going to be $5. Because they only made it for 1 year, because it's a 1 year type. About a month ago, I had a video titled $10 worth of coins. I paid 8 for the first one. And that first coin that I had purchased was from Guernsey, like this one. And it was an 8 doubles coin, or 8 doubles coin. This one is not as good condition, but it's a lot older. Someone told me that I was mispronouncing it, so I'm hoping I'm getting it right now that I say Guernsey. There is an H for the heat and mint on here. I think I found it right there. And so, what is 8 doubles? That is the equivalent of a British 1 penny. So I'd say it's about the size of a British penny also. I don't believe they made too many coins larger than 1 penny. They did make 1 and 2 and 4 doubles. I don't know if doubles meant 2 of something or if that was just the name of their coin, but I think they had a 3 pence for a very short time when they're still pre-decimal. But good to find another of these. I paid $8 for the last one. I paid $4.50 for this one, and it's older. So a win to get this one also. So for saving the best for last, we've got my first ever coin from Tibet. Tibet's one of those places that everyone's heard of, but getting coins from here are fairly difficult. And so I was willing to pay $5 for this well-worn coin, but that's actually what the Numista says that's a pretty accurate value here. So what we're looking at on this side of the coin is, they call this a snow lion in the middle of the coin. And it has letters in, the design here is an 8-petal lotus flower with letters written on the petals. And if you translate that, it translates to the Ganden Palace, victorious in all directions. The value of this coin is a 1 show coin. I couldn't read anything of what he wrote right there, so I'm not quite sure what any of that means, but the and I also had trouble trying to figure out their calendar system. Best I can tell, this was 1921 on here. And so it's been a while since I've looked this up. I think it has to do with the years of the current Dalai Lama or something like that. But essentially the date on here has to do with the 2 characters right here, the 2 characters right there, which are well worn. And so I think that translates to cycle 15, year 55, and that's where I got 1921. And it is kind of well worn, but it looks like this symbol was the same number repeated on here. So they have a number system. They draw their numbers different than even the rest of China. So it took a lot of magnifying glass time and just looking in my catalog to try and figure out what that was. So this is my first coin from Tibet. So I have a running list of how many different coins that I have, or how many different countries that I have coins from. I'm almost at 300. This is now country number 291. So I'm making pretty good progress. All right, so there was a lot to take in here with these 30 coins. But if you like this video, I've got 2 more that are going to be just like it. All right, say hello to my son, and because he's going to be looking in the comments. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.